Yeah, the CBA is coming up. And I can't wait.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
Angel Reese just dropped a bombshell, and fans are in total shock. Just 2 days ago, she was getting roasted over a fake quote, something she never even said, but it was so believable that people took the bait. Harder than a defender biting on a Kyrie Irving fake. This all started when NBA analyst Centel posted something that spread like wildfire, racking up millions of views and leaving countless fans fooled. The fake quote? It claimed WNBA players should get paid like NBA stars. And every time this topic comes up, it gets shot down immediately. Why? Because the WNBA's financials don't even come close to the NBA's. It's like expecting a budget car to run on premium fuel. No matter how much you want it, it just doesn't make sense. Even though the quote was fake, it was just convincing enough for many to believe. Fans fell for it, the internet laughed, and it seemed like things would move on. But then, Angel Reese herself made a real statement that proved exactly why people found the fake quote so believable. And this time, it's not just jokes. Fans are actually concerned. I'll get to what she said in a moment, but the bottom line, she practically warned the WNBA, either give the players what they want or face the consequences. And if those consequences actually happen, the league could be in serious trouble. It could kill the Caitlin Clark momentum and hurt the WNBA in ways that might be impossible to fix. Here's what went down. A fake Angel Reese quote started making rounds on social media, claiming that WNBA games should be worth more than NBA games because there are fewer of them, and that some WNBA players are better than certain NBA guys. That logic? Absolute comedy gold. But the truth? It was completely made up. Media outlets quickly stepped in to debunk it, letting everyone know it was fake. Still, tons of people believed it. Why? Because Angel Reese has spoken about money before. Just last year, she complained that her rookie salary wasn't enough to cover her rent and joked about living beyond her means. So when this new fake quote appeared, it wasn't hard for people to believe. Even though it wasn't real, it highlighted a conversation that isn't going away anytime soon. WNBA players wanting NBA level pay.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills.
Look, I get it. WNBA salaries aren't exactly mind-blowing, but let's be real, it's not like Angel Reese is scraping by on instant noodles and sharing a cramped $1,200 studio with a roommate named Scare who owns a pet cobra and considers showers optional. She's living in an $8,000 a month Chicago apartment, and thanks to her massive endorsement deals, she's pulling in millions. So when she complains about money, it doesn't exactly sit well with a lot of fans. Then there's Angel Reese, the WNBA's ultimate drama magnet. 1 minute, she's soaking up the spotlight, and the next, she's wiping away tears in a press conference saying she gets too much hate and that life as her is just too hard. The way she completely ignores the concept of cause and effect, truly next level.
She's a beautiful young lady, and there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on.
Think of it this way, when people realized they had fallen for the fake quote, their response was, well, it sounds like something she'd actually say. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Fans didn't just criticize her words, they also came for her game, arguing that she doesn't deserve another dollar in WNBA salary. If they weren't pointing out her struggles finishing at the rim, which, let's be real, are objectively rough, they were calling out her double-doubles, accusing her of stat padding by grabbing her own misses. And yeah, to be fair, Angel put up enough bricks last season to renovate Wrigley Field. Eventually people had their fun, got called out for believing the fake quote, and moved on. Or at least they did, until 2 days later. Yep, just 48 hours after the whole thing blew over, Angel was back on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, discussing WNBA salaries and the upcoming CBA negotiations. If you didn't know, WNBA players recently opted out of their collective bargaining agreement because they want better pay and benefits, and they're confident they can get it, thanks to the league's recent growth. And let's be honest, if you're watching this, you already know exactly which player is responsible for that growth. Angel spoke about how she and other players deserve higher salaries, something no one is really arguing against. But then, reality hit her like the stack of bricks she laid last season. The 2026 rookie class would be making more money than her. For context, Angel is currently on a rookie contract worth about $325,000 over 4 years. But let's not forget, that's pocket change for her. She probably makes that with a couple couple of Instagram posts. Still, realizing that future rookies would be earning more than her led to exactly the kind of reaction you'd expect.
They gonna get more. They probably gonna be making more than us. No, they are.
I'm hurt.
They are. Like, yeah. I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the. I need to get in the field.
You need to come to the
I
meetings.
gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us. If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
That's right, she's basically declaring war on the WNBA if she and the players don't get what they want. Angel Reese claims the players are willing to stretch negotiations as long as necessary, even if it means delaying the 2026 season. If their demands aren't met, they'll pack up and sit out. And just in case anyone thought this was another fake quote or a misinterpretation, she made sure to clear that up herself. She posted a clip on X with the caption, "If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out." So yeah, in just 48 hours, we went from parody to reality. She's dead serious. The internet's reaction? Pretty much a copy-paste of their responses to the fake quote. "I swear people don't understand supply and demand anymore." She's lost her mind. They can't even fill seats unless they're playing Caitlyn. Sitting out is only gonna make things worse for them. And that last point, there's a lot of truth to it. I could go on about the commentary, but let's talk about why Angel and some other WNBA players get so much pushback when they demand higher salaries. The simple fact is, the WNBA has never been profitable. Think about it this way, the NBA rakes in about $12 billion a year. The WNBA, it struggles to hit $200 million. And here's the kicker, 60% of the WNBA's revenue comes directly from NBA subsidies because the league loses tens of millions of dollars annually. In 2024 alone, the WNBA was $40 million in the red, and that's with Caitlin Clark in the mix. The league has been around for nearly 3 decades and still can't turn a profit. Even little Timmy's lemonade stand probably makes more money. Maybe he should get a McDonald's meal named after him. So when players demand NBA level pay, you have to ask, why? If a business loses money every year, how can it afford massive salaries? The only logical answer to this is Caitlin Clark. Whether players and media personalities want to admit it or not, deep down, they know she's the WNBA's savior. Before she arrived, the league was barely limping along. Half-empty arenas, TV ratings flatter than day-old soda, and a financial future that looked worse than my chances of dating Sydney Sweeney. Then 2024 happened. Caitlin Clark showed up, and suddenly, the Indiana Fever went from struggling to fill seats to 177,000 sellouts, setting a WNBA record with over 340,000 total home attendees. Road games? Same story. Over 20,000 fans showed up in DC and Atlanta just to watch her play, forcing both the Mystics and the Dream to move venues to fit the Caitlin Clark wave. Viewership up 170%. Her games now average 1.2 million viewers, which is 200% higher than games without her. In fact, 45% of the WNBA's total broadcast value comes from just her games. So if Angel Reese and other players really think sitting out is a smart move, well, they might want to rethink that strategy. Sales of Fever merch skyrocketed by 1,200%, with Caitlin Clark's number 22 jersey outselling the competition by a margin that would make Michael Strawn's teeth jealous. Businesses near Gainbridge Fieldhouse saw a 25% boost in revenue on game days. She generated $36 million in economic impact for Indianapolis and accounted for 27% of the WNBA's total revenue. And yet, despite all this, the WNBA still lost $40 million last season. Without Caitlin, it would have been even worse. A loss is a loss, but there's hope that the league can finally break free from its financial struggles. Here's why. Last year, the WNBA secured an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal. This guarantees the league at least $140 million more per year compared to the previous TV contract. And let's be honest, this deal happened because of Caitlin Clark's impact. So if there's one player in the WNBA who actually deserves more than a $70,000 salary, it's her. Of course, not everyone's happy about the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, and plenty of haters are hoping her momentum dies down. But newsflash, the Kate train has no brakes. The Indiana Fever just sold out 15,000 seats for a preseason game against Brazil's national team, a squad with the same star power as your local YMCA rec league. Resale tickets going for thousands on StubHub. Again, this is preseason. Then there's the Chicago Sky, who just hilariously proved how much of a one-player powerhouse the WNBA really is. They moved their upcoming games against Indiana to the United Center, which has double the capacity of their usual home Wintrust Arena, a place they struggle to fill on their own. Now bringing this back to Angel Reese and why her comments are going over like the Hindenburg on a windy day. The WNBA players are renegotiating their collective bargaining agreement this year. Their goal? Cashing in on everything I just mentioned. Right now, WNBA players take home about 9% of league revenue. In contrast, NBA players receive around 50%. Naturally, the WNBA players want a bigger cut, especially from the Caitlin Clark TV money. And you know what? They're in a great position to get it. If things go as planned, rookie salaries will finally be higher than a TJ Maxx shift leader's paycheck, and max contracts, while obviously nowhere near NBA levels, will allow top players to make a solid living. Lower tier players might even earn enough to stop selling clothes on Poshmark to make ends meet, and WNBA stars could skip off-season side gigs like Unrivaled and actually rest. But here's where Angel Reese's power move gets risky. Overconfidence from players who aren't Caitlin Clark could tank this entire deal fast, and she's not the only one pushing this. Natasha Cloud is also out here demanding the WNBA put players first, which sounds noble, but ignores economic reality. The harsh truth is that the WNBA has been bleeding money for 27 years. Even with Caitlin Clark, it's still relying on NBA subsidies to stay afloat. No matter how much players demand it, you can't pay people more than what they bring in. It all comes down to supply and demand. Caitlin Clark is responsible for over 26% of the WNBA's total activity. Angel Reese might be the second biggest draw in the league, but ask yourself this: are the Chicago Sky playing every game at the United Center, or just the ones where Caitlin is in town? That alone tells you who's really moving the needle and bringing in the money. And that's the big picture here. The WNBA needs to ride the Caitlin Clark wave to finally become self-sustaining. If the league plays its cards right, everyone benefits. Caitlin isn't just a star player, she's the heartbeat of the WNBA. Before she arrived, the league was crawling along like an old beat-up car. Then she showed up and suddenly, WNBA games turned into sold-out spectacles. Casual fans, people who never cared before, actually started paying attention. Shut that down with a short-sighted player strike and you kill the momentum. Pull the plug now and it's back to half-empty arenas and silence. Good luck trying to recover from that. Still think a work stoppage won't hurt? Just look at what happened to far more established leagues that went down that road. MLB's 1994 strike? Disaster. Fans bailed, TV ratings tanked, and it took years to rebuild. The NHL in 2004? They canceled an entire season, and it took a decade of begging casual fans to come back. And these are leagues with deep history and diehard fan bases. People with team tattoos and generational loyalty. Even they struggled. The WNBA? It's nowhere near that level. It's still growing, still trying to turn Oh Cool into I'd sell a kidney for tickets. Right now, it's fragile, and it's banking on Caitlin's impact to cement its future. If leagues like MLB and the NHL took massive hits from work stoppages, the WNBA wouldn't just struggle, it would flatline. Look, everyone wants WNBA players to get paid more, but it has to make financial sense. Angel Reese and other players have every right to be confident, but they also need to be smart. Players will get better salaries, especially with the WNBA's new $200 million per year media rights deal. But threatening a sit-out, that's a short-term stunt with long-term consequences. Hopefully this is just Angel being Angel, stirring things up like she always does. But let's be real, everyone in the league should be grateful for Caitlin Clark. Without her, there's no massive media rights deal, no record-breaking sellouts, and no real hope for financial stability. Sure, there are exciting stars like Paige Buchers and Juju Watkins on the way, but the WNBA cannot afford to mess with the Caitlin Clark effect. Not for a week, not for a season, not at all. The smartest move is for both sides to lock in a fair deal, one that protects the league's future instead of risking everything over short-term demands. And maybe, just maybe, keep Angel far away from the negotiating table. If you're still watching, drop a basketball emoji in the comments. Thanks for tuning in.